Okay, glad that we are here, and I just hope we get to experience this at a whole different level. If you are here, just say something. I'll be able to see you, and then we can go right ahead and do what we are supposed to do, okay? And I'd love us to have a chat, do the Q&A, and then go through the material that we didn't go through last time. There's a lot of things that we needed to learn that we didn't actually get to learning. So I want us to be able to go through it, and then we will call it a night. But for now, so glad to be here. Okay, Sozi Gideon, thanks for joining in. And I'll just go through the pleasantries, and then we will be able to go through. Esther, good to have you here. You said, as you say, Coach Nema Diana, you're already on. And I need those questions a bit early so I can be able to run through them, and then we can have a great time just going through the things that we're not really struggling with, but some of them are myths that need to be demystified, and then some of them are just clarifications. Some of them we need more light onto those issues, those particular issues. Like today I was answering a question from the She Talk. It's a private group where we talk as ladies, and someone asked, I remember her name must have been Goretti. She asked a question and said that if she, wants to socialize and to date and just have fun doing it, what would she do different? And we were able to go through it. And thank you so much, Philson, for joining in. I can see you. I can see you. Keep coming in, and let's keep having those questions. Nancy, good to have you. I'm glad that you were all able to switch so fast and at the news of this, but I'm glad that we are here. Now, I don't want to go through so many things, but I posted a video today about how to create better friendships if you want to get into better marriage, or a better marriage, or have a stronger relationship with someone. And it was very, very insightful. So after here, make sure that you go back and check out that video. It's going to be a great, great, great eye opener for some of us that are single. Rachel Asimire, thank you so much for joining in. Okay, and for the members of Accelerated Mentorship Program, there's a lot in stock, and we are getting into a season of interviews and TV shows and radio shows as well. So I want us to be able to have those topics ready, because those are the exact topics that we are going to share with the people that are going to host us, and then we will be able to have a great transition. Okay, so as you bring on the questions, I want us to be able to talk about being articulate. For those of us that missed the Google meeting, being articulate, okay? And I want to just run through marathon, and then I can check in with the questions, and then we can talk about the powerful questions just a little bit, the traits or characteristics of powerful questions, and then I can answer the day-to-day questions that we have. Those are the three things that we are going to do tonight. Okay, so being an articulate speaker, and speaking does not only apply to coaches or to mentors or to teachers, to trainers, to public speakers, to consultants. It all includes us, the people that deal with other people in our working arena. It even includes relationship, because this is the encoding and decoding of messages. So being articulate means being accurate, and being accurate means being specific and speaking a language that people can understand. Okay, someone has to be able, I think you've spoken to a 4-year-old before, and how you speak to them is not how you speak to a mature person. So how you speak to them is you're resizing your information, and you are taking care of your language so that you can accommodate their little brains that are just developing, so that they can be able to understand the words that you're speaking and get the exact message that you are are giving to them. Remember, as a child, they're not going to ask for clarification. If they over ask, some of the adults are getting so annoyed. But if you can resize that information, how you tell it to a 24-year-old is so different how you tell it to a 4-year-old. So public speaking or being articulate, we all have to be articulate. Even in relationships, we say that communication is at the core and the heart of relationships. And if you cannot communicate precisely, I have a video uploaded about teach them how to respect you. And you realize that some of these things you have to be very articulate about what it is you need so that you can be able to get exactly that. I also have another video uploaded that talked about getting whatever it is that you need in life. I talked about boldness and courage, and you see that we have to ask for what we need. So if you have to ask for what you need, so even if you're a housewife, even if you're a vendor, an entrepreneur, even if you're a teacher, even if we all communicate and we need to be very articulate. So coming from that background, I want us to be able to expand our vocabulary, because the best way we can be able to communicate in a language that people understand is by being able to have a wider bank of vocabulary that we can fetch from, that after, if we realize one word has not been understood, we can interchange, we can improvise, or we can use another word, or we can be able to study the people that we are talking to, and then we can be able to shape our words according to the people that we are talking to. But that means that you will have, I think you've had people that say, oh, Luganda has a rich vocabulary, oh, English has a rich vocabulary. Katumba, Jackie, thank you so much for joining us. So if it has if it's a rich language, that, for example, I know Swahili for sure is a very rich language, as in the way you speak it, the way you even the songs, like, it sounds so heavy. Randese on the other, it also is, I think all languages are really rich. It depends on who is speaking the language, really. So you realize that having a wider vocabulary where you are just not limited with words. If you're learning a new language, that means that you are very limited. You know, food is food, okay? So there's nothing else that you can be able to use to elaborate what you need. If you say, I need food, and someone does not understand you need food, what else can you say to mean the exact thing that you need, that you need food? You can say, I need something to eat. You can say, I'm hungry. You can say, so, you know, if you widen your vocabulary, then you have a chance to speak in a way that we understand, and we can be able to move together on the same chapter. Christine, you're welcome. Okay, and then we have to practice improvising of words, okay? Because when you talk about improvising, that means that you are connecting with people, and people do not connect with with the words that you, with how you speak. How should I bring it, the word that I wanted to use? It's not about the words that you speak or the many words that you speak. It's about how you speak that people connect with you. For example, people have said they connect with me because I emphasize where I need to emphasize. I put the pauses where I need to put the pauses. I'm very articulate. I'm very confident. So all this builds an environment around my words, and I speak with authority. So people are like, you know what she has said. If I say something and someone else says something, mine might way heavier than another's, and someone will say, she said exactly, she told me what I needed to hear, or she touched my life. But it's possible that we spoke the same words, but how we speak them is different, and people connect with how we speak the words. There was a couple that was that had some issues, and so this wife came crying, and when she was crying, she was, you know, hurling insults, not even insults, but very rude language, and, you know, cautions and all those things. And the man, on the other hand, the husband, was busy also, you know, bringing out the worst and bringing out the worst. So at the end of the day, they all broke into tears, and actually the lady broke into tears. And so I was like, what exactly is the problem? I want you to be able to think. Take a minute. Do not just answer me just like that. Take a minute and think about exactly what you want to say. So this lady, after some time, she was like, you know what? it's been 6 years going through this, and I think I have never gotten the clarity or what exactly I expect. So I told her, have you ever communicated how what you expect? And she was like, I hoped that by the words that I speak he would understand. So I told her to tell me what she wanted to tell the husband. When she told me how she said it is not how as the husband understood it, because after I told the husband the scenario and what she would expect for the husband to take up responsibility, to own up, to say sorry, and to say the right words that she needed to hear, and so the husband explained. I was like, but whenever we get into this exchange of words, you say so many words, and so I go defensive, and I also say so many bad words because I want to hurt you in the process, and then you end up in tears, and we end up in the same spot. So the husband took up ownership and was like, actually, this is what I did those things. I was frustrated. I didn't know what I was doing, and I am sorry about them. And he took full ownership and full responsibility, and it was genuine coming from his heart. And one thing I realized is there's a huge difference between how people use words and how they want others to understand them. So being articulate is very, very crucial. Having to pause and just create that suspense, or let the words sink in, or have the words marinated so that someone can be able to ponder and think about them is a very good virtue when it comes to being articulate. And then paying attention to your tone, okay, how you speak. You realize that a person can speak and the words are being misunderstood because of the tone that they are using. For example, if someone is just high pitched and they are speaking, and if you look at them without hearing, without even paying attention to their body language and what, you will think they are really quarreling. I think you've seen others speak other languages, and then they're speaking at the top of on top of their voices, and they're shouting and they're screaming, and then you're thinking they're quarreling, and yet they're having fun, they're even laughing. So the tone of your voice changes the words, and I think I gave examples, but I don't want to run into examples right now. I just want to go through them. And then even how you accentuate the words matters when it comes to clarity and being articulate about the things that you're speaking. Listening to yourself for feedback and asking other people to give you feedback is very, very, very crucial. I'm just running through them. And if in case you have those questions, please place them so we can be able to go through them. And then being able to portray confidence, okay, and self-assurance. People need to know that the subject or whatever it is that you're talking about, you are an expert, you are a guru, you are an authority in that line. And it's only when you exude confidence and self-assurance that people can listen to you and want to listen more and more and more. But if you spoke to a person who is not sure, or if someone came to address you and they're just not sure, I don't know, and I think, and then they go through, and then you just like, what am I listening to? But someone can come very straight, and you either ask them something or they choose to speak to you about something, and it seems like they have rehearsed it or they have thought about it, they have packaged it so well. So Gideon, thank you so much for being here with us. So being articulate is very, very, very wise, and it's going to take you very far in life. So make sure that if you're talking about something, you have thought about it, you have gone through, you have gone through what you need to go through. If you're a public speaker, may do your research, make sure that you know exactly what you are going to say, and then when you get to the time of saying it, make sure that you deliver in a way that exudes confidence and you are self-assured, and you're not mincing your words and mixing them and biting your nails and looking aside. Make sure that your eye contact, your body language, your alignment, and everything is just exuding the confidence that you need to exude, and this applies in every corner of life, okay? And then you have to make sure that you use the variations in speed. And I usually do this when I'm speaking, when I'm jolly and it's a happy speech I am delivering, or it's a happy patch that I'm delivering, I'm always hyped up and very loud. And if I'm talking about a sad thing, definitely the mood goes down, and that means even the tone has to go down, even the speed has to go down, even that everything has to go low. Why? Because it's a low moment. Now when you use those variations, someone is able to follow into the flow and get into alignment with what you are speaking. That is basically for people who are delivering information. And it's a natural thing. If someone is delivering bad news, they're not going to come, hey, look here, this is what I wanted to tell you. No. If someone is delivering good news, on the other hand, they can even, tap you, they can even shake you, they can even hug you, they can even, scream on top of their voices. Why? Because so variations are very, very important. And body language is very, very important as well. Because when you do those variations in body language, someone is able to follow. If you're saying he was driving a car, if you're saying something was heavy and you're showing the heaviness of what it was, you are taking me into that moment with you, and I am feeling exactly, you are touching my emotions, and so I know exactly what you are talking about, because we are in the same space. And then you have to understand yourself. I think I'll stop at those because if I decide to speak about that, I'll take the whole night. Okay. And for those that have questions, I need to be able to go through them and then just respond to them. But I know we are clearly going to have a great time. Okay, Gideon and Brenda, I've just seen you on. Thank you so much for joining in. And okay. I wanted to just touch some bit of powerful questions, but before I cross over into the powerful questions, I want us to address one of the people, one of the questions that I've just seen on the forum was about how to be a keeper. And if you want to be a keeper, like what exactly do you do for those of you that are singles? The reason as to why we'll address some of these questions, because these are the questions that you're going to get in the field out there for those of you that are on mentorship. And for those of you that are not on mentorship, it's possible it's a question that you're going through right now. Your attitude has been chasing away possible mates. For those of you that are married, you will meet these questions out there when you're talking to people. We are all growing into our purpose and our passion. And even if you're not on mentorship on this chat, you are growing into your purpose and into your passion. And it's possible that your purpose and your passion is to impact lives. If you want to impact lives, you're going to have so many questions come at you. And so that means that you need to be well equipped with the answers, because people are going to definitely come for those answers. So, if you want to be a keeper, if you want to make sure that you maintain people in your life, today we were talking about making friendships and friendships that last. And we make friendships from places where we are. And sometimes the people or our mates or our partners come from the places where we are, or they come from the people that we are in close contact with. And so if you want to be a keeper, or that means you have to learn to network, you have to learn to socialize, and then you have to learn to date in order to be able to maintain some of those friends. Having friends in this era is not an easy thing. If you have one good friend, that's good. That you are really lucky. If you have two, you are very lucky. If you have three, you're extremely lucky. But coming from my own example with Tim, I think we've been together, or we've been friends for the past 2 decades. And so when I got to know him, I mean, he was also going through his own stuff. I was also going through my own stuff, but we stuck it out, and we were friends. We kept on the friendship and growing. We didn't know where it would lead us, whether it was into a relationship or a marriage, but we were friends. And I am so glad that I was able to nurture that friendship. I was able to stick around, to hang around, even when he lost friends because of the life that he went through, and the turmoils and the things. He speaks about these things freely. So I was able to stick around and nurture that friendship, not knowing that this is where we would end up. But I'm so thankful I nurtured that friendship no matter what. But one thing is, a friend really matters. The character, their values really matter. You are not going to keep everything that comes into your net because you want to date or you want to have a relationship. That means you also have to have a sieve, a person that comes into your life. Do you share values? For example, Tim and I shared the values. Well, I knew that he was Christian, and I knew that he was God-loving, and his character was quite very, very straight, not quite straight. He was a person of his word. As in, there are those things. He was a promise keeper. When he promised something, and until today, he's that same person. He was very hardworking. He's not the kind of guy who would tell you, I don't have. If you told him I have an issue and I need to sort it out, he would not kind who would tell you "Katenzi noge committee you wanzijewa." He'll be the kind of person who says, "You know what, give me 5 minutes, or give me 10 minutes, or let me go to town njiye. By the time I come back, you never know what will have happened." And so such a person, that means they are reliable, they are dependable, and you can trust their word. They do not just flip and become a totally different person. So you see that it is very crucial that you have not really a checklist that people say that you're ticking all the boxes and what, but there are things that are very meaningful. Like, okay, we are back on. At least it was able to reconnect. So what happens is you want to have that person. Now I want you to be a keeper, or to have glue only for people that benefit you, or for people that are good, not for anyone. Because if you want to be a keeper and you keep everything bad, then you're going to end up with nothing, or you're not going to have a good life. You're going to end up in tears. But if you keep things that are good, that means that if you see someone that has potential, and sometimes it will begin as just a friendship, and if it's a friendship and it goes into a date. A date is someone you go out with, it's not someone you sleep with. And that is where we can talk about multiple dating, that you can actually have different people. You go for coffee, you go to cinemas, you go to church, you go to, as in, you are not sleeping with them, you're not committed to any of them, but they are your friends. And if you have your friend, you can actually tell them, "Oh, tonight I'm unable to come with you to this because I already had a prior program," and they will not throw tantrums. Why? Because they are just friends. Now when it goes, then you are looking at who has the potential, or who loves me, or who is willing to go all in with me. Now when you see that person, and that person is willing, and they're asking for exclusivity, that means that when someone is exclusive, yes, you have these friends, but these friends now are dropping, just remaining at the level of friendship, and you are committing and being exclusive with one person. But that means you have to be, these days people are so picky. These days people know so much. I was lucky that I fell in love at a time where I wouldn't say I didn't know what I wanted, but I was not so picky again. Like I was not just looking at the nitty gritties and just looking for reasons to get out of the friendship or the relationship and all that. These days we are so exposed, and social media is not helping. Couple goals, we want to be couple goals within 1 week. So if you want to be a keeper, just be in your lane, know how to socialize, go out on dates, and have fun while at it. Let me tell you, once you get married, you can never have that back. That means that you have all the freedom that you have, not to misuse it, not to sleep around, but to just have fun and go out when people invite you for parties. Don't lose out on chances. Do your people in your life know that you're searching and you want to get married, or you want to marry if you're a guy? So mention it, because when people know, then they are able to say, "Okay, so and so told us that they are actually searching. So if they are searching and I have someone who wants someone, that means I can be able to either hook them up or something like that." So you see how chances can come by and you're able to meet the person of your life. So make sure that you actually go through with it. You don't just walk away just like anyhow. And then lastly, I want you to evaluate if you're walking out of a friendship, or a friendship that, because some of them are not going to come as friends. Very few of us have that privilege. Some of them are going to come outrightly expressing their interest. Now when someone expresses their interest, that means that they want to be able to see whether this is viable, or this can work out. So make sure that if you are with such a person, you also keep an open eye, and do not just discard them and throw them away. Give them a chance and listen to them. And if you want to opt out of that friendship, make an evaluation and say, what exactly is taking me out of this? Is it a deal breaker? We talked about that is what a requirement and a request. Now, a requirement is a deal breaker, because if you require monogamy in order to be in a relationship, that means you cannot be in a relationship if it's not monogamous or if it's polygamous. And if it's a request, because there's one who asked me a question in the She Talk group, and she was telling me, okay, how do you deal with jealousy if you are in a polygamous marriage. That means that person settled for polygamy. That means either she's a Muslim, or she comes from a background where, or she's just okay with being a second wife or a third wife. So you realize that we all want different things in life. So to her, that is a request. And to another person, to many of us, it is a deal breaker, and it is a requirement that can actually make us opt out of a relationship. So evaluate before. Do not prematurely walk out of a relationship. Oh, because he did this and he just did it once, and then look deep and think, what is exactly taking relationship? And if you know that drinking is a deal breaker, smoking is a deal breaker, or having multiple relationships is a deal breaker, infidelity is a deal breaker, I want you to be so sure that, because if someone had already built a foundation of friendship, people can overcome infidelity, people can overcome an affair, not affairs, an affair, because if it becomes a habit, is totally disrespectful. But a couple can overcome an affair, or a relationship can overcome an affair, but it has to come from you. Do you feel this is the end of the road for both of you? Not because there is someone else that is throwing leads exactly what you want to do. Okay. Nancy, you're saying hello, coach, and Rachel, you're saying hello, following, and guys, that's Gideon, Brenda, hello, coaches, and JM Kakembo, thank you for joining us. Patricia, you are present. I want to be able to answer your questions. We don't have that much time remaining, but I want you to be able to just have some clarity about some of these issues. Okay, and then just over to powerful questions. And these powerful questions, for those of you that want to be impactful in life, and you just want to help one or two people just live a better life, these impactful questions are yours to be able to think about and to ponder. But I'm just going to talk about the characteristics, so if you want to be able to ask someone something. And I posted something on the mentorship group, something to do with the questions that we need to ask ourselves about, and even other people, because people come to you for help. And if people come to you for help, you're not going to give them just the fish all the time. You need to take them to the lake and teach them how to fish. That is how it works. So if someone comes to you for help and you want to ask them the powerful questions, those questions should be open-ended. Okay. And because an open-ended question does not require a yes or a no, it requires an explanation, it requires a history, it requires that they respond to you. Okay. For example, someone says that they've gone through trauma, and so you have to ask them. If you ask them, were you young by then they are saying yes or no, and that is an answer. Taking them back, and they are explaining how they felt and where they were, what was the surrounding like. So it's giving you a lot of flesh for you to actually develop better questions to be able to help them, and to be able to co-create options of how to get out of that out of that issue. If you are here and you're not signed on the mentorship class, so you know that we are leaving you and we are far ahead. We are learning how to impact lives and how to change people's lives, how to help them out of their situations. Okay. And just opposed to that, how do you help a single person who has given up on getting involved in relationships because of the past hurtful experiences? Okay, I'm glad you asked that, my friend JM. If someone does not want to get into a relationship, definitely someone can come to you. It's not because they don't want, no. The reason as to why we have these high fences and we lock people out, most times it's because of the past experiences that were bad, that we don't want to repeat. But again, I usually tell people, and if you have the right words, you can be able to help someone, or mentor them out of it, or counsel them out of it. Not coach them out of it. This time you have to put on a counseling or mentoring kind of quote. Why? Because then this person needs to get out of that ditch, to understand that if you are locking out the love, or you don't want to get into any relationship, and you're saying zenakoa, that means that you are locking out the possibility of your own happiness. Okay, so you are causing someone to open up their mind to the possibility that it's possible I'm self-sabotaging. It's possible that, and this is what I've usually told these people, that you know what, you are here crying and saying that this is the end of life for you, but the person that dumped you, or the person that walked away from you, or the relationship that did not work, the other person is busy eating their chicken. They're busy hanging out with whoever they're hanging out with. They're having that fun of their life. So you want to press a pause button on your life just because someone walked out of your life. If someone walked out of your life, that means they didn't want you enough to stay in it, or they were not strong enough to face the circumstances that you had to face together. So that means you don't actually need that person until they go and mature up or grow up and are able to change a few things in their lives. And when they come to you, they own up and take responsibility, because they are second chances. But if this person cannot even learn from their mistakes, they should not be anywhere close to you. So this person needs a dose of reality to be able to open their eyes that, oh, I'm not the only one in this situation. There's so many people. And who is to blame if your heart gets broken? Okay? Because most of the times I want us to also look at our own contribution. Were you too available? Because sometimes single people who are on this forum, sometimes you are too available. And if you are too available, the other person just doesn't see the need to be with you. You're not a priority anymore. You're not as enticing and as surprising, and as, the chemistry is dwindling and all that. And it's very possible that you were actually hanging in there for dear life, but the other person was toxic, or the other person was violent. So that means that you have to go back. Counseling is the process of unpacking people's trauma and seeing things as they should be seen in order to move from that place to another place where they long to be. That is counseling. Because with coaching, you're actually facilitating that person to make options for themselves. They have the answers. The person that comes for coaching has the answers. You, the coach, you do not hold the answers. So that means that if then you are going back into the past relationship and you are looking at it. Now, this is what I do with my clients when they come to me. We unpack, we are able to go into relationship. And most times when they tell you the things that they went through, it's either the other person was ghosted them, or was a zombie in their lives. For the people that have followed me for quite some time, you know those terms. And or the other person was just not, was interested in the money that they had, but they were not interested in love and in the person. You can clearly see those things because you are outside facing inside. Now, the person that is emotional, that is in the middle of the relationship, is not able to see some of those things. They wish they were around. They wish they would come back. They wish, and maybe they stopped wishing, and now they just became numb and seared, and they don't want anything to the relationship, because in mind and how God created minds is for self-preservation. That is how our minds were created, that we will register fear and we will register trauma, and we will never want to go back to the same trauma. So that means we protect ourselves by the high fences. We protect ourselves by going home and putting on our pajamas and popcorn and sitting and watching whatever it is, Netflix or DSTV, whatever it is. And then we go into our bedrooms and we pray and cry before God and say, God, please bring the person, bring the man of my life, bring the woman of my life. Is God going to dump that person through your roof into your sitting room or into your bedroom? No. You are going to find these people out there, and you might as well have fun. You have one life, and I usually state this: you have one life to live, and if you're going to live that one life crying over spilt milk and crying over relationships that did not work, don't you think you're wasting your own life? If you died tomorrow, what will you have to show for that for your life? Because then you want them to jump over that hurdle and keep pushing themselves. Go for a cocktail, go for a party. I mean, talk to someone, give out a number, and just live a free life. Guys, life is to be enjoyed. Life is not for suffering and for cocooning and for feeling sad and mad about our lives. No, life is to be enjoyed. So, briefly, at least J.M. Kakembo, you have a glimpse of what it means to be able to jumpstart. That person is like a battery that has gone flat. Okay, and if a battery has gone flat, you need to jumpstart it. And how you jumpstart a battery, you do not just hold it, or you just bring the wires and connect them and hope everything is going. No, jumpstarting means I'm going to speak with authority and with confidence. And I usually tell people, you've come to me, you've not gone to any other coach or any other counselor. You've come to me because you need help. I don't mince my words, I don't mix my words, I don't sugarcoat them, I say them the way they are. And if I see something, I'm not going to be a conventional counselor who is going to say, okay, let's look at it from this angle, let's see how it's going to work out, let's get. No, I'll tell you, no, cut to the chase. This is just not working. We need to be straight. We don't have time to waste. Okay, so JM, you at least you have one or two things that you are equipped with to be able to go into that situation, but you need to help that person see that there is hope again, and they can have life again, and they can be free again. And if ever the other person comes back, I mean, if there is ever even a possibility of that person coming back, they should find them fresh, different, and not in the same spot that they were left. And let me tell you, people open their eyes and they realize, and then they start again. And that's very beautiful about humanity. We have endless hope, and God created us beautifully. How do I become a good leader? I know I have the potential, but why do I feel I can't? Okay, now being a leader, no one is born with the stars, or like the army has, and then you're told you're a brigadier, or you're a lieutenant, or I mean, all those stars and all those names and glories and stuff like that. Now, we are not born like that. We are born simple people in simple families, but believe me, some of us are more equal than others, and we just have the calling from when we were children. You can even see, I mean, my children are totally different, and sometimes I look at them and you can clearly see. And my mother also tells me and says that, you know what? I mean, when I gave birth to all of you, when I look at you, you all by just looking at them and liaising with them. And you'll find that even when you went through school, you were a leader, you stepped up. Even when no one invited you, you would find yourself doing something that is extraordinary. You found yourself ahead of other people. Now, when you grow up and get to where you are, my dear Esther, how you become a good leader, definitely after some time it becomes intentional. You start cultivating it. And how you cultivate it is to look at good leaders. Sometimes, um, most of the times, you'll need mentorship. I know for sure mentorship has helped me so much develop my leadership roles, and just sitting at someone's feet and being able to see, because a mentor is someone that should be able to practice what they are preaching, and then you can be able to see firsthand what they are doing, and you can be able to take on that mantle. Okay, so that means that you need mentorship. Number two, that means a leader has to be informed. You have to read widely. You have to be able to, because a leader has to have a wider knowledge base. People are going to ask you questions that you even have, but you have to answer them. Why? Because you are their leader. People will come with problems. If you're a leader, you're like an automatic counselor, only that some leaders don't take courses. And I'm so glad that I have actually a huge group of pastoral leaders that are coming, that have come for mentorship, and they want me to mentor them into counseling and coaching, because they have realized that being a leader, you're in a very very pivotal place where people come to you for knowledge or just about their issues, and they need help. And I have told them time and again, yes, you have the spiritual knowledge, but it's not enough to tell people God bless you or God is going to work a miracle. Sometimes people need the practical things to get, just like someone would come and they're hungry and then you're placing hands on them. No, sometimes you need to get into your pocket and buy them a kilo of rice and tell them, you know what, go home, be well, let's hope for better, let's hope for God's provision. But at least you know you've put food for them on a plate for supper, and them and their children are not going to go hungry. So do you see how to be a better leader? You have to think, okay? Apart from having a mentor and reading widely and having a lot of knowledge and being skilled, like you're doing mentorship right now. And you have to think, you have to be a thinker, because while people are looking at you, you can lose it. You remember Moses? Sometimes I like giving my examples from the Bible because it's a book that I read a lot. And people are looking at him, and he just doesn't know what next, and he just decides to go to the mountain to go and seek God. He comes back, they are worshiping a calf, and then he breaks the commandments and all that. Now, if you are a thinker, you are the kind who is not going to panic at the Red Sea and tell them that, you know what, we are dead. While everyone is saying we are dead, then you're also, we are dead. There is nothing to do. You are the one who will tell God, you are the one that brought me here, and you must make a way where there seems to be no way. That means that you think. If you're a mother and you don't have anything to eat for your children, you will think, because we are leaders in different capacities. You'll be like, you know what, I either go to the shop and borrow, I either call someone, or my mother, my brother, or a friend to, get me some money. I brought them to us. So do you see that you are responsible for the lives that you are leading? And a leader cannot lead from behind. A leader is not the kind who will involve in themselves in the gossip, in the small talk. A leader is one who thinks ahead and leads from ahead. Okay, that means you have to think ahead, you have to plan ahead, you have to strategize, and you have to be. Spiritual knowledge is very, very crucial to leadership. Spiritual knowledge is very crucial because it's an added advantage. And as leaders, we need discernment. Sometimes things are not going to be. I remember, I think it was last week, we were doing some interviews, and I was unable to be there because I wasn't fine, and then I also had my children to take care of. So one of the people at office was like, you know what, I need Bahati in these sessions. Why? Because she can look at character traits, she can read characters, even when before someone speaks, I can know something about them. I can know that we will need that person on our team, or we will not need them on our team. And most of these things I have said time and again, and someone comes for the interview, I don't even ask a question. I look at them, and then after they've gone and everyone has asked their question, I'm like, she's not a match. She's just not going to cut it. And indeed, even when they go ahead and hire the person, first week or second week, they self-sabotage, and they're not able to go through with that. So most of the time, like, no, we need her to be able to tell. We need her to be able, but I don't tell because I ask so many questions. I look at someone. So if you are a leader, you have to have a spirit of discernment that you can see from afar and know that, okay, it is not well, or I need to rectify this, or this needs to be addressed, and all that. A leader has to be committed. Esther, you have to be committed. When you say you are a person of your word, okay, and you give more than what you even promise, in form of your time and the things that you need to be able to do. So I want you to look at these things. Of course, we are not going to say everything, but you said, how do I become a good leader? I know I have the potential, but why do I feel I can't? Now, that is within us, the fear. Sometimes we feel like, who am I? Like, what are they going to think? Is it even worth it? Okay, I come from a poor background. Sometimes actually most of the leaders do not come from the best of backgrounds. They come from a poor they come from travailing, from battles, from, there's so many settles to scores to settle. There's a lot of things. So the fear of rejection, and then the fear of being judged is what is eating at you, my dear Esther. So that means you have to did you see the post that I posted on Accelerated Mentorship Program, where I said, be yourself, be genuine, be authentic, be you, and whoever wants to follow, they will follow. If they want to fall off the wagon, let them all fall off the wagon. Then they are not your tribe, they are not your people, and those are not the ones that you should. sometimes this leadership, the people that we lead are not meant to be with us for the rest of our lives. People come into our lives for seasons and for particular things. And after that window has been fulfilled, or that desire has been fulfilled, they are going to break away and maybe start on their own or go ahead or have a different person. So I don't want you to think, okay, this person started with me. We don't own people. It's like pastors who say, oh, now she left my church, she went to another church. Are you Jesus? Are you God? You're not. You don't own people. People can have the free will to transfer or to change or to do anything. So if you're a leader, you don't hold on to people. No, you're like, you are here for a season. And after that season is done, you're either going to be ushered into your greatness or you're going to move to a different location. And God is going to bring more people for me to mentor and for me to lead and to take on. So it's not your role to look for who to lead. No, people are going to be there who want your leadership, and you are going to be a great leader. My dear, you are going to make a very, very, very great leader. So don't look down on yourself, and I don't want you don't berate yourself. Do what you need to do, and if people are not following or they are not with you, let them go. Let them go and let them be. But I know for sure, and I believe that it's all going to be well. Okay, so we are finishing up. We talked about the powerful questions that they should be open ended. I think my network is acting out, but they should be open ended, and then they should be directed for clarity and discovery, not for correction. You do not ask questions to correct, you ask questions so that someone can be able to discover their internal. Sometimes we don't know what we feel. When you ask yourself, how do you feel in this moment, and they are able, sometimes they even don't know that's what they're feeling, but when you ask them, then they are diving deep into themselves and they're discovering that I feel fear, I feel panic, I feel a sense of emptiness, I feel, then you know who they are. It's for purposes of clarity and being able to dig inside themselves, that you will be able to actually help them. Okay, and questions are for the benefit of the client or the person that you're helping, not you. Okay, so you don't ask to know, you ask that the other person can be able to formulate their story and create their story in a way that they can end up in a better place. Okay, and then you make sure that they have to arise, or these questions, powerful questions, have to arise from you actively listening, not just formulating what you're going to say and the questions, but you have to be very active in the listening, because that's when you're going to read the emotions. That's when you're going to know when to ask what question and stuff like that. You have to be very attentive. Even if you're not a coach or a counselor, but you're just any person that is going to help another person, you need to have these skills. Okay, and then the questions have to be neutral and non-judgmental. You can't tell someone they're thieves. You can't tell someone they're, they're no, 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 no. You want them to be able to come to a conclusion that, you know what, I'm just not a good person. I think I need to change something about my life. Okay, and then they have to be standalone. You can't ask questions. There are people who ask like 4 questions. They're like, oh, I should not forget them. Let me ask so many. But remember, you are taking this person off course, because they're not going to be able to concentrate to be able to respond to those questions. If you ask one question, however, it's going to be very, very beneficial, because they're going to answer that, and then they can be able to explain, and then you can be able to ask another question. Then you are able to reveal who they are inside out. Okay, and then you have to be able to start with what or how. It doesn't have to be very static, because we say they're not open-ended. If you're saying, how did this happen, then someone is going into, or what exactly happened, then they are describing. So they are descriptional, and then they are the kind that dive into the intensity of the situation, of how it happened, and the elaboration. So clarity, intensity, elaboration, and clarification are at the core of the powerful questions that you will ever ask. Okay, and just briefly, we have very few minutes, and I just want us to be able to deal with the interviews. We are crossing into a section where we're going to have interviews, and that is on on camera. That means that you have to be able to practice how to speak on camera and be able to be attentive, and just facing the camera. So you have been doing this on the YouTube channels and the videos that you have been posting, but I want you to be able to exercise it a little more, because sometimes once we shoot, we do not shoot again. Okay, most of these things I want to prepare them so that they are pre-shoots, and then for the radio we can do the live ones. For the TV, some of you are going to be able to do the live ones, and then some of you are going to do the pre-shoots. Good evening, Coach Hilda. Blessings, everyone. Faida, thank you so much for joining us. Even but you will be able to watch the whole video afterwards. And so I want you to be able to prepare, number one, your three very topmost, and I want you to be able to inbox me those so that I know exactly what you will be handling, and you have to research about it. We'll talk about your angle and point of entry, and then prepare, because then this is the season we're going to look at those books, the books that you're writing, the table of contents, and then what kind of clarity you need, or the alignment, and then the arrangement. Some of you have some issues with arrangement of your content. This is when we'll be able to look at it. So we want to be able to use the time very wisely, so that if you're coming for a radio interview and you're coming for a TV interview, we can as well have time to look at your book. I believe that will really be, instead of giving us so much time, because some of you are busy even in this situation, and I'll have to consult with you so that we know what times are not so busy for you, so we work around your time. I say this mentorship program is self-paced, and this mentorship program is going to run around your program. You do not have to have them colliding. Okay, if we need more time, we can have more time. I told you I want to hold your hand, and I want to usher you into your passion, into your purpose, and into your profit. Okay, and this is not just going to open when we finish up the mentorship. No, the mentorship is just not ending just like that. We're still doing big things together. So I want you to be able to have me those. For those of you that have not done your assignments, please make sure you do your assignments and hand them in, give them to me. I want to look at them and be able to guide. And for those of you that don't have pages, I need you to have the pages. Some of you I'm following you. Most of you actually, I think it's only one, like two or three, that I'm not following, and I'm not able to follow you. So I need you to be able to reach out, so I know exactly what the problem is. We'll rectify it, because I've searched for you. I cannot be able to find you. Okay, and for those of you that are coming on to rewatch, please indicate you're rewatching, so that I know that you are watching after the live session. But thank you so much for being with me tonight. I'm going to make sure that I reach out to you on the different platforms, to make sure that we go through your topics, to make sure that we go through the timetable and how it's going to run, because these weeks are quite not also very easy weeks, because we're getting the end of year week is what we are about to begin, and then the first week of January is when we have to wrap up everything. But we are going to make sure that we see how to play with those times and get the best out of them. Okay, so let's work together, and let's make sure that this works out for the good. And for those of you, Faida, okay, I think there was no question. There were only, I think we managed to answer 3 questions tonight, and then we were able to talk about the traits, because some of you missed them, the traits of powerful questions. And then to also we were able to dig in to the issues that we talked about, that most of us actually missed in the last session. We were able to enlighten those that being articulate as a powerful speaker, and we need this in our lives. Okay, so tonight we will stop here, but keep those questions coming on other forums. I'll make sure that we are here again. Faida is saying thank you very much for the update on tonight's class. I'm going to replay right away. I'm very sorry for late attendance. It's okay. Go through it, and you let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to go through your YouTube channels afresh, and I'm going to go through all your pages afresh. The content, I am going to also look at it afresh, so that I can see. Margaret, you are late, but you're going to be able to replay this video, so we can be able to be on the same page. And let's direct all the others to be able to rewatch. Make sure that you know exactly where we are and what we are getting into. Okay, from me to you is a good night. And love you, love you, love you, bless you. And let's meet again tomorrow on the different platforms, and then see when we can be live again and answer those questions that we badly need to answer. Okay, have a great night.